Hello, everybody out there in Facebook land, TikTok world, everywhere this clip is going to be going a little bit on the live side, if you know what I mean, because this also gets sent as a recording to YouTube, to my business page on Facebook, and all that good stuff. Welcome to the broadcast channel, everybody. I am Monty Anderson, your host at 412 Productions, the art of Monty Anderson. Hopefully, you all are doing great out there and living life to the fullest. Been a little bit since we've been on here live, just because we took a little small hiatus around the birthday, which was the 7th. And now we're back. Today is the 10th of September, and it's been a good, decent birthday celebration, that I had a weekend of. Went fishing, caught me a nice little catfish, probably about 4.5, 5 pounds catfish. And, since I only caught one, I threw him back so he could get a little bigger. And so I usually don't keep them if I only catch one, just because, there's no sense in just cleaning one fish. It would have made some good fillets all the way around. Let's see. Today's title is about new items coming into the shop here. As you see, I've got some new merch on right now myself in my new shirt, my all-around logo shirt that I am wearing. It's got the logo going everywhere, all over the shirt, including on the back. And it is very cool. A very awesome shirt. The back gets you in your face and large and all that goody good stuff. So, hopefully you all are doing great out there, and welcome to the broadcast channel. I am Monty Anderson, your host here at 412 Productions, the art of Monty Anderson. And we're talking about new products hitting the scene with our, of course, the new shirt that we've got going on right here, right now. And then we got a new toy that we're going to play with, and it is pretty sweet. I'm hoping it works the way I want it to, and we'll see. I got to get it set up with the logo and all that goody good stuff in it as well to see if it's going to do what it's going to do. Please excuse me. I'm a little bit on the tired side. Didn't get much sleep last night. Woke up about 1 a.m. or so and haven't really been back to sleep since. So there you go. So, the new item is a holographic fan right here. This holographic fan spins like it is. And yes, I got it off the TikTok shop, but I haven't got it programmed in yet. So I don't know. I mean, it's already pre-programmed with a SD card in here. And other than that, I have not programmed it with my logo yet. I haven't put my logo in the SD card and then got it up and running. But it also comes with a little spot back here, like you can put it on a tripod. So I've got some tripods I'm going to try it with to see if it will even substantiate this. Because once this gets spinning at its RPM to do what it's supposed to do, because you're supposed to be able to play videos and, just put your products on here and let it rotate through the products. It comes with a remote control, all this goody good stuff. So I'm hoping it works the way I want it to and does cool stuff, because if that's the case, the logo, whoops, I need to switch this around anyway. Get off mirror mode. There we go. This will have my logo over my shoulder. It'll be right here. So the logo will be spinning around my head, which will make it a little bit more difficult getting into my fridge back there, but whatever. It'll be cool. It'll be fun. It's going to be exciting to use these products and get these items out there, to be viewed, especially at shows and things like that, because you want that eye-catching item to bring people over to your spot, you know. And I've already got my first invite to a convention for 2026. I've got to get that up and going as well. I've also got to look at some sponsorships that I've got going on as well. I've got to get with Mr. Kirk to talk to him about the sponsorship he wants to endeavor with us and see what all that's going to entail on his side. Because I don't know, you know, what he wants to do yet. So there are sponsorships in the works that we're looking at that will help offset the cost of the booth, the table prices, and things of that nature. So that will be awesome. That will be cool, and that'll be fun. Because the booth rental for the at the comic book conventions and things like that is the most expensive part of the whole setup. Uh, Whenever you're going into it, and if you have a sponsor that's willing to and take that off the table for you, well, that means the profit margin is a little higher, you know, because you're not having to recoup the say $200 or $300 that the table cost or more. Because some shows the booth cost is, you know, depending on if you want a corner booth or standard inline booth or in a vendor spot, could be up to $1,200, you know, and which is ridiculous in my book that, you know, you're charging that much for a, you know, a corner spot, you know, at a show. But I mean, I know that's a premium spot to get because people see the corner spots faster than they do the inline spots most of the time. So, but you know, I just don't get the mentality. If I was doing it and everybody would be charged the same, you know, there would be none of this. Well, you're gonna have to pay $1,200 or $1,500 just for this corner booth, whereas the guy sitting next to you is getting charged $300. You know, it makes no sense. And then make every booth the same size. You know, if you're telling people that you're getting a 6x8 or an 8x8 spot, make it an 8x8 spot. Don't cut corners and make it, you know, 7 foot or 6 foot or whatever, um, and shortchange your customers because we see that a lot. I take a tape measure with me on a regular basis to the shows, and you know, I measure it out, and generally we're about a foot and a half to 2 feet shorter than what they say in the brochure. You know, whenever you sign up to get your spot, so and which always makes it tighter, you know, on you, the artist, um, especially if you have a lot of stuff to display. So, but from henceforth on out, it is a two booth spot for us. We will not be doing, you know, a single spot, just one booth. It'll be a two booth setup only. Um, Again, that gives you more wiggle room to display all of your stuff, especially with the new items coming in, the shirts, all the different shirts. The number one top seller right here. Just got him some new shirts with this one as well. Going out to Kirk Holt as well with that on the American Horror shirt, and I'll get into those here in a little bit. Um, but we do have a lot of cool stuff happening, a lot of cool stuff getting ready to come into play. Um, got a lot of artwork sitting here, and I got a lot of artwork I got to get out of here. You know, lickety split, if you will. And I'm looking forward to get rid of all that. Casey, good morning, brother. How's it going? Hopefully you are doing well out there. I'm glad you have made the show, and I'm glad I've made the show. I have not sent your books out yet just because I got to find the other one. It's in a box in the closet, and it's buried, so I got to get to it. But I will be getting those out to you. Um, just got to dig a little bit on that end, and go from there. I still have your address readily available, and well, not your address, but your sister's address. So, but but yeah, no, the birthday was pretty good. We went Crystal mining on my birthday on the 7th, which was Sunday. And we came back with a huge portion of the mountain. I should have brought some in here because we found some really good stuff. Um, and, a lot better quality than the last crystal mine dig that we did on her birthday in July. And um, we brought back some big pieces there too, but nothing like what we brought here. I mean, literally, we were breaking boulders open, um, getting the crystal veins going on inside there, and you had the nice crystal points and clear crystal quartz and things of that nature, which was a lot different than the Ron Coleman mining at Avant. Um, they go through and till up their ground on a regular basis. It's either they till it up or they pull it from a different section and then they pour it out and you get to dig through what they've poured out. Um, but we found a lot of good stuff. I mean, we found some points. She found a point that was just chilling on the top of the ground that was probably about this long, about this big around. And um, it's a little bit smoky on the inside, but then it's got a lot of the crystal clear qualities to it as well. But I would say about 80% of what we brought back was clear crystal quartz, and we've got a lot of clusters, and so I think that's going to be part of our setup too. Is um, crystals because we've got a lot that we can sell right now, and just looking at the prices they had at their shop, it was ridiculous on some of the prices that they had. You know, um, I think some of the cheapest stuff they had was not even brought in from there; it was brought in from somewhere else. And it's like, holy shit, man! Why do I want to pay $2,500 for something I can find out there in your yard? But the nice thing about Avant, unlike Ron Coleman, is that you get to drive your vehicle to the spot and you have access to your vehicle all day long. So, drove my truck up there, and whenever we found some big pieces of crystal and things like that, boop, right in the bed of the truck. So, we ended up with quite a lot more um, finds and keepability items than we did at the Ron Coleman. Ron Coleman, we were there all day long, and we found a lot more crystal quartz or quartz crystal than we did the crystal clear quartz. And we didn't bring back nearly as much from Ron Coleman as we did from Avant Mine here in Arkansas. And those are just two of the ones. Now there's another one, which is I think the Wagner mine here in Arkansas. Um, but that one we probably won't ever go to just because it's a 2 hour max um, dig. And, I want to dig all day long. I don't want to dig for just 2 hours unless you're putting me on a nice ridge that I'm going to find a bunch of stuff at, because they do put a guide with you or whatever at that one. And I'm assuming they put you on a nice vein. Uh, well, not everywhere in Arkansas. There is a diamond mine where you can go find diamonds. We did that one, and we didn't find shit. Okay, we found a bunch of small crystals and a bunch of different kind of stone, but we never found diamonds. But the very next day, somebody found a 2 carat diamond. After the very next day or a couple days after we had been there. But they find diamonds all the time there. Um, Generally, they find them. There's probably like 4 or 5, maybe even 6 a week found at the diamond mine there. And it's kind of a sucky thing because it's a huge open field, kind of like Ron Coleman. You walk up a mountainside and you dig in the dirt. You know. Yeah, I mean, if you know what you're looking for and where to look, you can find diamonds, but they're not everywhere. They're in certain formation areas. in rocks and things like that. Because you see, the girlfriend watches a lot of videos, especially in other countries like in Australia and stuff like that, where they're breaking open rocks and they're finding diamonds inside the rocks that have been there for thousands of years to create that. You know, so, and I'm not saying you can't if you're walking around, just like finding arrowheads. You know, well, go to Bill Clinton's childhood home and get them diamonds. But they're not just readily available. I can't go in my backyard and dig up a diamond, or I can't walk my backyard and just find a diamond here in Arkansas. There's certain areas that you can find them. But, crystals you can find just walking the ground, especially up in the Ozark Mountains and things like that. That's where most of these um, crystal mines are located, are in the mountainous regions like Mount Ida and Jesseville and things like that. Hope, Arkansas. Yeah, you would be correct on that, Mr. Casey. And so there are opportunities to find everything you want here, from uh, geodes to uh, selenites, uh, which I've got a piece right up there. You can find turquoise. You can find all kinds of different things. And, you know, a lot of the times you just got to dig for it, you know. And that's just like some of the stuff that at Ron Coleman as opposed to Avant. Like I said, it took us all day long to even find a quarter of the stuff that we found just walking around doing just what's called surfacing at um, Avant, you know. And we were finding huge pieces of tips of crystals and things of that nature. So again, we brought home a lot better quality of of crystals than what we did at the Ron Coleman mine. And we're gonna hit a bunch more, hopefully. That's the goal, is to hit. We've been trying to do one a month, and we haven't hit that yet. So far, it's every other month right now. But it's fun. It's exhilarating. It gets you away from your everyday norm. And most places close about 5 o'clock anyway. So we feed the chickens around 7. That works out. We go grab a bite to eat after. And sometimes we leave a little bit earlier than closing time. Just because, like at Avant, we found a ton, and we were able to, get our fill, if you will. We were hoping to find a big, like 14, 16, 18-inch spear, but, we weren't that lucky. One woman showed us a find of a cluster that she found, she said probably, you know, a week ago from the day she was there to that on the 7th. And so it would have been the end of August for her, and she found a huge cluster. I mean, the thing was probably about this big, about yay tall, and it'd probably be worth about $3,000, if she sold it. And according to their prices at the gift shop, from items found there on the grounds of the mountain. But it was cool because it was a nice, cool day. It was probably in the 60s when we got up to the top of the mountain. We were in the clouds because it was a nice, cool, overcast, semi-rainy day. It had rained prior to us getting there, which made surfacing a little bit easier because you can tell the differentiation of a crystal in the ground over just a rock or just some regular quartz crystal, you know. And so that made it a great day because again, it was not hot. It was a nice cool day for the most part of the day. It did get up into the 70s, but for the most part, it was stayed at about 60, probably about 68 to 72 degrees most of the day we were there. You did you guys hear Jalen Hurts adopted Dak Prescott last Thursday? He's officially his son now. Yeah, whatever. And and then how many trucks? You tell me, because I don't know. We don't do trucks here. And Jalen Hurts' performance wasn't that great. Yeah, he could run. That was about it. As far as passing goes, he wasn't that great at the passing game. But it was a good look for our new head coach and everybody else there for the Dallas Cowboys. And not disappointed in their performance, just disappointed in certain play calls and all that good stuff. Yes, I'm a vet, but I don't know how many trucks you got going on. I'm an 11 Bravo vet, which means I'm infantry. So, and besides, why would you want to answer a question about your vehicles on post, considering I'm not on a post, you know? And give the enemy any idea of how many vehicles you carry. Exactly, nonsense. So, and I haven't been on a post in since 2012, you know? So that part of my life is over, except for talking to my military buds that we keep in touch with, you know. And that was a good part of my life. And so, you know, that was a great time. It says Elvira, Mistress of the Dark. You know, it's that spooky season, live in a haunted house. Um, and Elvira, been watching her stuff. And there's a truck on top of the flagpole. Okay, all right. So, anyway, but yes, Elvira um, goes with some of my artwork that I've got too, which she probably won't be turned into a piece of artwork unless I do another one because I've done three different pieces of her, and one of them is in fact the one that's autographed over here that I did. That was my latest one that I did. So I've done three different ones. One I did for a set of cards that didn't go anywhere. It was a, I guess they either put it on hold or canceled the whole set from Dynamite Entertainment, and uh, that was going to be cool. I did a whole card series just like I did for the Ash versus the Evil Dead. They were going to do a card series on that, but they either put it on hold or canceled it, one or the other. And and I did some really cool card mock-ups for that, and on both of them, but neither one of them went anywhere. And so, I was looking forward to those because that would have been cool. But again, the best one that I've done so far was Puppet Master. I'm hoping some of those hit the open market at some point in time because I know the box sets have already hit the hands of the buyers after the Kickstarter was complete, and I'm pretty sure they might have a few available on the website. I'm not 100% sure. I haven't looked, but I'm waiting to see if any of those show up on the open market on eBay or anything like that. Because I find a bunch of my other ones on eBay, and they're not my greatest ones. They're some of my crappy ones. Because sometimes you get into a rushed contract with these card companies, especially Dynamite Entertainment. They have no sense of a time frame. Like, I got a request to do two different card sets for Red Sonja and I believe Vampirella, or maybe it was a combined set. I don't know. But like within the next 2 weeks, they wanted them back. You know, which is crazy turnaround time. That gives you no time to mess up. You know, you're drawing and going and coloring and all that good stuff, and that's just way too fast of a turnaround. And especially for the little amount of pay that you get on these cards, you know they bumped it up to $5, but you know it used to be $3 a card. So, you know, you would have to do 100 cards just to even, you know, get any type of decent money from these cards companies. And now some of them have gone up to a little bit more than the $5 a card. But, you know, the turnaround time is ridiculous anymore. So I don't even see how some of these guys even do it. Um, and I've kind of just given up on that. You know, I've done several sets in my time, from Chasing Amy to The Walking Dead being my first ones back in 2017, and um, you know, Stranger Things was a great set. The Walking Dead, my later sets were better than my first two or three sets of the Walking Dead, and then Fallout. I didn't really like the Fallout cards that much because they wanted I did 30 cards and they wanted three different designs for all 30 cards. So you had one design for 10 cards, one design for 10 cards, one design for 10 cards, you know. And you had to reproduce that on each of those cards. So no, didn't hear about the girl murdered in Charlotte. And so, you know, all these card sets are they're cool and they're fun to work on, but the turnaround time on some of them is just ridiculous. Um, you get no time to actually put your heart and soul into the cards, is what I mean. And so that's why I like the blanks that I have left. You know, because I can take my time on those. I can, you know, be picky about what I put on them. Like the relic cards for Magic the Gathering. I can do that. If anybody is into Magic the Gathering wants a rune card or a relic card or whatever, I can create your creature on these cards right here. You know, yes, true Magic the Gathering cards right there. We've also got, well, this was an artist choice by Viceroy. So right there, whatever the artist wanted to put on here. It's a nice thick card, as you can see right there. Then I've got the Avengers metal cards right here that I worked on. Right there, right there. Of course, again, blank covers where I can draw on them for you. Also got the 25th anniversary of Chaos Comics right there. Right there. That's what the front looks like. And then, of course, Dynamite Entertainment by Dynamite Entertainment. This is their zombie cards, basically, because all of their characters that they have acquired over the years, like Vampirella and Red Sonja, and you know several other characters, Chaos characters, things like that. They did a whole zombie run, kind of like Marvel Zombies. So they don't have an original brain in their head on Dynamite Entertainment. Let's just say Red Sonja, the 50th anniversary, complete blank front, nothing up there. The Red Sonja She Devil cards right here. And yes, these are all cards that I worked on right there. This one does have a cover on it. And then this is a puzzle card for Dawn right here. Joseph Michael Lisner's Dawn, 30th anniversary. And this was a puzzle card I was working on as an AP right there. Bum, bum, bum. And then Chasing Amy, like I said, the weird thing about this is we couldn't use Ben Affleck or I can't remember what her name is, the one that's pictured right here on the card, the Amy that he was chasing in the movie. We couldn't use their likeness in here. We could use silhouettes of them, or you know, or a blurred version of them and things like that, but we could not actually use their likeness. So there was a lot of Kevin Smith in there. There was a lot of the other guy, and not not Jason Mewes, but the other guy that's been in a lot of Kevin Smith movies. I can't remember his name right off the top of my head. But we could use their images, but we just couldn't use Ben Affleck or the Amy character. Fallout Vault-Tec right there, so you know that I did work on Fallout cards. That's the front. A lot of these cards too, you had to take with a grain of salt, just because um, the cover stock quality sucks. It bleeds, or it didn't take ink well, or it didn't. It doesn't. A lot of them never took colored pencil well either. So, and that was my first mistake on my Walking Dead cards that I did, which I do have a few of those left running around here somewhere. Oh, I think they're right there. That are available up for grabs. But these are the Puppet Master cards. I have a lot of those. I'm looking forward to doing some work on these, but these are complete blank front covers as well. Again, Dynamite Entertainment on the Puppet Master cards, but you know, uh, Full Moon Features and Dynamite Entertainment teamed up with that one, just like everybody else teamed up with Dynamite Entertainment for their card sets. But Puppet Master is not owned by Dynamite Entertainment; it's owned by Full Moon Features, and so that's the nice thing about that. But I do have a lot of cards just chilling up for grabs when it comes to artwork already done up. But if you want something specific on any of those cards, hit me up. Eventually, I will have my own cards made up for a sketch card type of a deal with my logo and stuff on the back, with the whole congratulations, you get a one-on-one card, all that good stuff. Um, Now it's time for the rundown of the shirts that we have available today. All right, so again, the number one top seller right now is my second painted Joker shirt, which is based off of my painting, which is sitting over here to my right at this particular moment, right here. This one is available. Welcome, Mr. Roy Joe Bradley Jr. Welcome to the broadcast channel. Glad you're still awake. Right there. This was my number two painted Joker, or my number one painted Joker shirt, and it's becoming a fan favorite. And it sold, the original painting sold to this one, so I don't have it to show, you know. But again, it's fun doing characters all the time. This is my last Ronin Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles artwork right here. This is becoming a fan favorite as well. Chester Bennington, another fan favorite. This one is getting more orders on a regular basis based off of my painting that, again, is sitting right over here. This one is Ivan Moody of Five Finger Death Punch. My girlfriend's mother was actually wearing this yesterday. The American Horror shirts, which are becoming a fan favorite because I've gotten several orders on this one. Right there, right there. Howard the Duck, the original OG Duck, not the CGI version that you see today in the MCU. Basically based off of Jack Kirby. And Mr. Dexter Morgan, which the first series of Resurrection has ended and left us with a cliffhanger so far. Mr. Art the Clown from Terrifier. My girlfriend has this one in red. The Crow, I've got this one in yellow and black. And this one's becoming a fan favorite, as well as the Art the Clown one. Then you've got Wonder Woman, which is becoming a fan favorite. The Linda Carter style painting that I did. On red, it looks great. I wouldn't put it on any other color shirt, to be honest, because this is to represent the outfit underneath that gold that she's got right there. Right there, right there. And then, of course, this one's becoming a fan favorite as well. The Naughty Nun series, the bad habits that I've got right here. So, and then, of course, this shirt, if you're wanting to get this shirt, this one's a little more expensive than my other shirts. These are 20 up to a 2X. Anything above 2X, well, 2X to 5X are 30, and the regular shirts from small to extra large are 20 on those shirts, plus shipping if you live, you know, apart from a spot that I can hand deliver it to you near me. Now, these shirts here, if you want one of these to sport and throw out there, it gives you all the information of who I is on it and all of that goody good stuff stiff right there. Let's see what there was a question here. Same time. Yes, there is a same time. I came on just a hair early today, um, because I've been up again since 1 o'clock this morning. Didn't sleep very well at all, and so there you go. We've already been on for 37 minutes, and we're up to 18.5 thousand likes, which is awesome. I appreciate you guys out there. But again, I don't know if Casey, if you saw this or not, I got me a holographic fan that spins around and puts your logo or whatever else out there that you want out there. So once it goes really, really fast, it creates the image and it looks like it's floating in air. So I'm going to be putting my logo on here, and I'm hoping that it does fit on my tripod right here. Screw into my tripod, and it's going to go over my shoulder back here and spin really, really fast and have my logo just floating there in the air. I'm hoping that's what happens. I'm hoping it doesn't fly off and hit me in the back of the head. You know, all that good stuff. I'm trying to get a little bit more fancy with stuff because I enjoy the green screen, but the green screen has its limitations because you move a certain way, you start losing part of your face, you start losing your arms. You know, all this weird stuff happens on a green screen, and I'd rather just use the natural stuff that I can find, including this holographic fan, because again, it can play videos, it can do a slideshow of your artwork, you know, as it progresses through. It can show everything that you've got up for sale. um, it can be used for like sales points, you know, I got a sale going on here, you know, those type things. um, okay, cool, I got you. Well, I appreciate all the likes and the spam that's going on, because and don't forget to like, share, and follow, if you don't mind, because I will follow you back. I periodically go through and dump all the banned accounts that happen, and then people that aren't contributing anything at all to this broadcast channel, um, which means comments, likes, shares, anything like that. I do go through and just be like, well, why did I follow you? Oh, no reason at all. Okay, unfollowed. You know, those type things. But if you're an active follower and an active fan base here at 412 Productions, we will follow you back and end up liking all of your stuff, depending on what all you have out there. Um, because that's what we do. Because if it wasn't for the fan base liking, sharing, and following, we wouldn't be here today. You know, and that includes the people that have followed us and liked us from many different comic book conventions and things like that. Just because they make us who we are, and I always say us because it's not just me; it's a whole business organization all the way around. And people are like, why are you saying us on a regular basis? There's only you. It's like, no, there's more than me. The girlfriend helps out. I have other people that, that used to help out on a regular basis with the shows and things like that. Um, but they have kind of fallen by the wayside. They've disappeared into the woodworks. You know, I can't type and send likes at the same time. That makes sense. I mean, I get it. I'm glad you have the capability to do what you're doing, you know, because I'm still mystified. I, I'm hoping I can get this technology to work, you know. Yeah, we picked up some dowsing rods and we've been asking questions and things like that. Um, Apparently, three different people have died in this house, all part of the same family, relatives. One of them supposedly committed suicide right here in the office. This used to be his bedroom. So, um, the dowsing rods are pretty interesting, to be honest. Uh, I I've been trying to get mine to work properly, and I know a lot of people don't put any stock into dowsing rods and things like that. But dowsing rods have been used for thousands of years, to find water sources and to find, hidden treasures and things like that. So, um, it's kind of interesting that I can ask the same questions of mine and not get any response, you know, but she can ask questions of hers and get a response immediately, you know, and it's quite interesting. We've been able to try to discern some things because we looked up all the different people here that used to live here in this house, uh, potential relatives and things like that, and asking questions of it. And from what we understand, again, three different people have passed away in this house, and two males and one female from the same family. And I'm not going to give their last names or anything like that. Um, but it's quite interesting stuff, you know. And that's potentially why we have so much activity that happens in here, more so than you know all through the house. We do have stuff that happens all through the house, but most of the time is isolated to here or the bedroom, the master bedroom that we're in right there, right now. The full body apparition was one of the person that committed suicide here that I saw outside, because we did ask that question, and it it puts perspective on things. You know, you I know I've taunted the ghosts and things like that here in the past, and I've apologized to them for that. You and it is just one of those things that you know. Hopefully, my dowsing rods will work fine. I'm getting into the groove with them, and they're copper dowsing rods, and they're sensitive. Yeah, good morning. Finally, I saw you come on earlier, but I guess you came back on the broadcast channel or you dropped us or whatever to watch your ESPN. But good morning, Mr. Roy Joe Twinkle Toes Sparkle Butt Bradley Twilight Lover Jr. to the broadcast channel. Welcome, welcome. And but yeah, no, there's quite a bit of activity that still happens. Not on a daily basis, just because you kind of ignore certain things anymore. And unless it's something, excuse me, major, like something being thrown off the wall or something thrown off of the shelf or whatever, you don't take too much stock into the activity, Casey. And so, unless it's something major, don't take stock in it anymore. Which I know the spirits want to be heard; they want to be acknowledged, and so they will try to get your attention from time to time, with little knocks here and there. the orbs that we see on a regular basis. Uh, we didn't get much activity from the library, just because I think there's just way too many spirits in there. Those type things. Uh, but yeah, no, haven't seen anything good lately other than the dowsing rods. But good question. Good question. And also the the, the clear crystal quartz. I don't know if they're having something to do with you know um, blocking spirits or that type of things. Um, yes, paranormal activity here at the house. And I've got crystals everywhere, because we buy crystals at different crystal shops and the ones that we found and all of that good stuff. So, and I know certain crystals can amp up spirits and things like that, and plus different crystals do different things for warding off things and there's a crystal for everything, you know. If you want friendships, if you want wealth, if you want health, if you want, this, that, or the other, you can find a crystal for that. But does that also come into play with your mind over matter? You know, do you want good health? Well, think it into existence. You get your metaphysicals of things like that, and you know, it's just like, well, what is it, a mind over matter belief, or is it the crystal actually doing its job? That they say it does. You've got your skeptics on everything, you know, and I have to be a skeptic on a lot of things, to be honest, because again, I live in a haunted house. I know I also have some mice that run around the house as well. Are they knocking things over? Well, no. They can't physically pick up an action figure, flip it upside down, and put it in between two other action figures, that card, the top of that card, and just set it down nicely like that. Now I guess if 10 or 12 of them worked together, and used their little hands and lifted it up and flipped it upside down and then set it back down, they could do that. You know, I wouldn't put it past something like that, but that's not what's happening. And the only reason we have, mice in the house is because of all the feed that we have in the house. You know, yes, Mr. Roy went with us to the crystal mine, and he found some good stuff himself. Um, and he had a good time, I hope, and it hopefully goes back to another spot eventually. And because like I said, we're gonna try and hit some more later on. Like I said, we're trying to hit one a month, and the cooler months are happening. And I don't know, I'm assuming they go year round. Um, but being up in the mountains, I don't know if they would, because you're digging. Then at that point in time, you're digging through hard dirt, hard dirt and clay and ice and snow and things like that. And I don't know if they go year round, but if they do, you know, October will be the next time we go. Maybe we'll see. But I'm glad you had a good time, and I know you did. You told us you did. So, but yes. Um, but no, so it's all relative to your mindset. I think when it comes to what crystals can do for your body, or what crystals can do for your wealth, or what crystals can do for your friendships, or you know, anxiety, depression, PTSD, those type things. Um, and I know that when I moved into the house and we just started looking around, we started noticing crystals all over the place. Different crystals all over the place around the house. Not to mention the crucifixes, like the one that was hanging in the attic. You know, and it's just like, what was going on here? So, We found many a crucifix in this house, and it's just like, well, what happened here? You just have to guess because that's stuff that people don't divulge. You know, whenever you're unless it is a true haunted house that you know the history on. Most people don't divulge that. Hey, we've got spirits or ghosts or poltergeist or whatever. And so it's just like you get to learn. You get to learn and find out what's happening in your own house. So which is fun. I don't mind. Like I said, the first few nights that I was here by myself, dead asleep, right around that witching hour, the 2 to 4 o'clock hour in there. Excuse me. It sounded like somebody tried to break in my front door. I mean, the whole house shook basically from the impact. And I'm up with pew pew in hand, walking the inside, flicking on lights, walking the outside of the house. Absolutely nobody. Second night, same thing, that same time frame. Sound like somebody was trying to come in the side door, which is right outside my office window. And I'm up again, flipping on lights, checking the doors, checking the house, going outside. Absolutely nobody. I mean, I'm even walking in the garage and the shop and all the way out to my back fence and all that good stuff. And nothing, you know. And then you realize that, oh, this could be poltergeist activity happening. And then other things start happening. Rocks fly off of tables and action figures falling and flying off shelves that don't move. When you bounce up, when you jump up and down, they don't move. And so it's all just fun and games to them. They just want that attention and that acknowledgement. And like I said, the girlfriend has been grabbed and all that good stuff. Um, Whenever there's no gap against the wall in the bed, you know, but yet she's still getting the arm reaching up from the side of the bed, and when she's up against the wall and grabbing her leg, those type different things. And haven't seen any scratches or anything like that, but it is what it is, and you just take it for what it is, and you move on. We live in a little bit of a harmony. I still see shadow figures on a regular basis. I still see orbs, and I wish more orbs would show up here so you guys could see them, just like happened whenever I was talking about the laminate box, the Hellraiser box, and things of that nature. And haven't seen any demons, so that's a good thing, I guess. Like I saw when I was a kid. Uh, and some people think it's scary, Casey, and I'm assuming that was the dog. Either that or somebody's knocking on my door to my office, and nobody's home. I'm just listening. See, that's a cool house. Lives in a house in Maine, correct? In 1703. We have had lots of happenings through our 20 years here, but oh, the hand. Yeah, yeah. She was freaked out about it. She actually had to tell them to back off, leave me alone. Nothing mean or evil. Now I just call them my roommates. I mean, you have to because if you're gonna live in harmony with them and they don't bother you, then what's the harm? You know. Now you can get them to cross on, find the light, all that good stuff, if you truly want them to. Uh, which some people are like, well, let's release the spirits back into the light and all that good stuff. There's a whole ritual that you can get or find, you know. And I just haven't done that yet. I need to probably for certain ones. Like you get the spirits that are trapped here because of their own issues, like the suicide. If that's truly what happened, you know, then he needs to be released. You know, on into the light. And then the other two, I don't know what happened to them. Don't know if it was foul play. I don't know if it was just natural causes, anything like that. But brothers, sisters, uh, cousins, things like that. It's all the same family. So it's just one of those things that it is what it is. And we we know there's multiples here, multiple spirits here, not just the three. Um, I'm not going to say it's a legion of them here, but as far as not just this family, and again, I'm not going to say their names or anything like that. And it's not because I don't want to. I just don't want any negative connotations with their family. You know, because the mother is still alive and lives right up the road um, from me, and there's only been X amount of families that have lived here in this house since the 1960s. This one family, another family, and then the latest family that I bought it from, and then me. You know, uh, so technically, only been four families have lived here with their significant others or boyfriend, girlfriend, or whatever. Those type of things. And so I live in harmony with the spirits here, just because they don't bother me. They tried to in the beginning, but then they learned that I don't run away from that type of shit. And it's like I've seen a lot worse. You're gonna have to do something horrific for me to turn tail and run. You know, I mean, you're gonna have to show up right behind me right now as a I don't even know what. You know, which I know isn't gonna happen, but you know, there is that hope. You see this thing come over my shoulder. Oh, but no. But no, the taunting of the spirits here is done. Um, just because if it is tragic circumstances that led them to be spirits, then you don't want to taunt them. And like I said, I did apologize to them, and it is one of those things that some spirits need taunting, especially to get them to move. That provocation, and like you see in the ghost adventures and ghost hunters and things of that nature. Um, and so I'm always told that I've got a condescending voice whenever I'm talking to the spirits here at the house, and it's just like, well, that's not my intent. It's just, I've seen other ghost adventure people or ghost hunting paranormal hunters or things like that they have a condescending tone in their voice too, but they get responses. You that was one of the questions. Do they like me? And basically, they gave her a no, which is the dowsing rod's open. Whenever they cross, that's a yes. You know, and so and then it went from an open no to a very very slow, almost touching, almost X, but then it stopped. So they're on the fence. I don't know if they believe my sincere apology of taunting them, of provocation against them, but you know, but it is a heartfelt apology on my part, for taunting the spirits here at the house, and I know, especially if it's a suicide, if that's truly what happened. I'm not saying that it's not. I'm not saying that it is. That's just the response we got when we asked questions. That then I am truly sorry, for taunting the spirits, you and not believing, what we were hearing on our on our ghost detector as far as the voices coming through there. You know, so it is a true apology for them because you don't want to be stuck in a place that you really don't want to be at. You know, if that makes any sense. And sometimes the ghosts don't know they're ghosts. So, and and so they're just trapped, and it sucks for them because no one has released them or shown them how to get to the light, and that could be what I work on next. You know, trying to release them, and see what's left after they're gone. Because, like I said, we have multiples here. We have more than the three that we've talked about that are in the same family. And I don't know where those actually come from. The remaining spirits that are here at the house. So it's just one of those things, you know. You want the best for them, just like you want the best for yourself. You know, they're no different, other than they're not living anymore. You know, and one day that'll be me. Um, what the fuck, TikTok? What the hell am I talking about? Actually, I'm getting a restriction right now saying that I said something. Um, apparently, I can't use um, the word I guess I used, uh, the DEAD word, um, because now I got a restriction uh, talking about that word. It's asinine, okay? The restrictions that you start getting now. Because that's not what we're talking about at all. TikTok. Uh, we're talking about spirits here and the beyond. Yeah. Maybe TikTok needs to be released from its demonic possession. I don't know. But I get going and I forget that I have to say specific words in a specific way. Oh my lord. I mean, we're an hour and 2 minutes into it, and I get a restriction because I say one word. You know, talking about the unalived here in the spiritual realm, and using the DEAD word, even though we've talked about Ash versus the evil DEAD already, and it didn't give me a restriction then. Oh, okay. So anyway, ah, you gotta love it. You gotta love it. I appreciate the 36,000 likes, almost 37. You guys are much appreciated. And don't forget to like, share, and follow, where we talk about all kinds of stuff here, from the paranormal to artwork to my artwork to this stupid puzzle piece that TikTok makes us do to my artwork, 412 Productions, The Art of Monty Anderson, which it says right over here. The Art of Monty Anderson right there. And the t shirts you've already seen. Um, and again, with t shirts, except for this one, you will have 11 by 17 cardstock prints, and then you will have the 11 by or 16 by 20 canvases as well. So you'll get something substantial whenever you buy from the shop later on, and not the shop per se because I don't have a shop set up, but you can buy direct from me, whatever you want. Really awesome shirt of your logo, front and both sleeves, and the back. Yes, the back is coated as well. See if I can flip it around with my superhero sleep pants going on here. Right there. Show my butt. That's not what we're showing here. But you can see the shirt. it does go all the way around in the back. All that goody good stuff right there. So there you go. But this is what they call the all-around shirt. This is what they call the all-around shirt. And I decided to go ahead and order a couple of these. She's got one, I've got one, and going from there. Because this, I can wear to conventions and things like that, and it be in your face. You know who I am. I am a vendor. I'm not just your average walk around customer, fan based person, you know, convention goer, all of that goody good stuff right there, right there. But yeah, no, it's cool. And again, this shirt is a lot more expensive than just the $20 shirt that you see that we've already shown. Just because even the printing cost on this one's a little more expensive. So, but if you want one of these, let me know. We'll get you hooked up with it, and that way you can promote as well. So you can represent out there. But there you go. That is the show for today, folks. I do appreciate each and everybody being here, and I've got some artwork to kick out and get on, and get some more things taken care of. So we will, as I like to say, as I leave you guys, we will catch you on the flip side. Have a good day, everybody.